I don't know what I'm doing. Whee! Doesn't it kind of look like a UFO? Hello beautiful people! Welcome back to my channel. Welcome back to another video. This is Anna. We are here today. It is a Thursday. It is a very rainy Thursday, which I kind of like. I kind of like how it's adding like a vibe to the video, you know what I mean? It's just so cozy when you sit in your car and it's raining outside, or you're sitting inside the house and it's raining and you just get to like snuggle and cuddle and feel like all warm while you look outside in the rain. Does that make any sense, or is that just me? I'm pretty sure it's not just me. Anyways, so for today's video, I want to do an about me / get to know me video. Get to know the YouTuber, this YouTuber, a YouTuber, whichever one you prefer. As you can see, I'm here with the chaotic, awkward, nervous energy as usual. I don't know if that's gonna change. This is like, what, my like 10th video or something? And I'm just like, whoa. I'm so all over the place. I'm sorry, guys. It's all because I'm not drinking caffeine. That's why. Ever since I've been caffeine-free, life has just not been the same. My life status is permanently craving coffee. Like, I'm always craving coffee. I'm just like, oh, why can't I just have a beautiful cup of coffee right now? That's okay. I've almost been not 2 weeks caffeine free. 1 week caffeine free, right? It's only been a week, right? Or has it been 2 weeks? It might have been 2 weeks already without caffeine, which is kind of crazy. I was recently reading an article that says that it takes 6 months to fully get over side effects of withdrawal and for your body to fully recover from being addicted to caffeine. I was like, I thought it was gonna be over after like 1 month. You're telling me I have to wait 6? Anyways, today we have a stunning spread from a place called Bourbon Bar. I'm pretty sure I'm saying that correctly. I want to say Bourbon, but I don't think it's Bourbon, right? It's Bourbon. Bourbon Bar. They're located inside International Smoke, which is a restaurant run by Aisha Curry and Michael Mina. Yeah, they have a few different locations, and Bourbon Bar is a pop-up inside International Smoke, a newer one, I believe, as well as Tokyo Hot Chicken. So we have some duck fat fries. And these come with 3 sauces. Comes with pickled ketchup. It'll be interesting to see how that's different from regular ketchup. Smoked mama barbecue. Okay. And ooh, truffle aioli. Yes. Then we have a burger called the March Madness Burger. It has pepper jack mozzarella stuffed dry aged steak patty. Ooh. Barbecue sauce, applewood smoked bacon, crispy onion. Ooh. And then our next burger is, I don't know what I'm doing. Whee! Doesn't it kind of look like a UFO? This is the black truffle steak burger with black truffle. I don't know how to say this word. Camembert, caramelized French onion fondue, truffle butter, toasted sweet potato brioche bun. Oh. Right. I'm excited to dive in. I hope you guys are having a fantastic day. I certainly am. It's crazy how it's raining because it rains so rarely, but I find that when it does rain, I do appreciate it. And I don't know, it just gives me like a sense of peace for some reason. I don't think it's raining too loudly, so hopefully you won't be able to hear it. I'm gonna try the pickled ketchup first. Whoa! Okay, it literally tastes like pickles and ketchup combined. Like, pickles were like ground up and put into this ketchup. I like it. Duck fat fries are so good. They just have this oiliness that regular fries don't have, in a good way. Let me describe the duck fat fries. Famous duck fat fries, yeah. Okay, so where should I start in my story? Should I start at the very beginning? Birth. I'll start there just because people ask, and it's crazy because people will come up to me and they'll ask me, where are you from? I never know which one of 2 things it is. Because number 1, either they're asking me where I'm from because they want to know, oh, did you grow up in San Diego or did you grow up somewhere else? Or number 2, people will ask me, where are you from? Because they want to know where I'm from, like originally from. Sometimes they'll be like, where are you from? And I'm like, oh, I've been in San Diego for a bit. And then before this, I was in North Carolina for a bit. And they're like, no, but where are you like from? And I'm like, oh, okay, I gotcha. gotcha. I feel like I can't hear my accent, but some people can apparently, and they like pick it up as soon as they meet me, as soon as I say a few words to them. So I was born in Odessa, Ukraine. I moved here when I was 3 years old though, so I was very young. I can still speak Russian conversationally, but I honestly don't use it that often. When I was 3, my parents and I moved to Manchester, New Hampshire, until I was, I think, about 13 or 14 when I was in middle school. And then we moved to a suburb of Portland, Oregon. And I lived in Portland, Oregon all the way up through high school, when then I applied to college, and then I went to college in Baltimore, Maryland. I attended Johns Hopkins University. While I was studying there, my parents moved from Portland to North Carolina, Charlotte, and that's where they're located right now. That's where I go back to visit. After I graduated college, I moved to North Carolina for a few months. It just wasn't my scene. It's a great place to live if you have a family and you want to have like a giant big house for like $500,000. Like, shit is ridiculously cheap over there. But I think for at the point where I was in my life, a recent grad, it was just not the right place for me. So I flew out to San Diego to actually go to a friend's wedding. I was going to stop by San Diego, and then I was actually going to go up to San Francisco to visit a friend. And I essentially decided that I was just going to move to one of the two, and I would just move to whichever one I liked more. And that ended up being San Diego. Nice and sunny San Diego. It's funny because I actually did end up living in San Francisco for a few months about a year ago, which I'll go into in a little bit, but I just fell in love with San Diego, and I'm still in love with San Diego 5 years later. It truly is its own little world, like its own bubble, I would say. It's very different from like the rest of the US in that it's tropical, there's lots of palm trees, it's always warm, it's very lush, but it's not like Florida, which is similar and sort of in its like tropical way. But it's different because number one, it's not as humid, and there's just not as much of a party scene, I guess you would say, as there is in Miami. I mean, people love coming to San Diego to party, don't get me wrong. So let me jump into the burger. Okay, I'm gonna try the March Madness burger first. So I attended college and graduated with a degree, a bachelor's of science in neuroscience. That was my major, that was my degree, that's what I went to school for. I was actually originally supposed to go to medical school because typically when you get a degree in neuroscience, you're either going into medicine or you're going into research. The major really prepares you for just those two paths essentially. And I thought research, while being fascinating, was so boring. Like, oh. Which, you know, props to all the researchers out there. There's like a lot of like burger juices. This burger's big. Like, look at this. Look at this. Oh, my poor car is becoming like a garbage bin. Dear Lord. It just always smells like food now. I decided around junior year of college that I actually didn't want to go to medical school. And I can go a little more into this in maybe another video because it'd probably be like a pretty long segue. Why I decided not to go to medical school, kind of what happened, la-di-da. It was also around that time, probably not coincidentally, that I developed incredibly severe social anxiety and depression. And I think that it's a combination for me of environment and genetics. It was a very unhealthy environment for me, unfortunately, at school. While at the same time, mental illness does run in my genes. My brothers had something, pretty sure either my parents or grandparents did too, but I'm just not gonna talk about that. And I've been struggling with those things ever since. After I graduated, I kind of had no idea what I wanted to do with my life, but I decided that I was going to try sales because I really like talking to people and I was competitive. Now, I know some of you might be thinking, how can you like talking to people and have social anxiety? Like, how does that make any sense? And I've had people ask me this. So the way that I describe having social anxiety is essentially like having an allergy, almost. Like, imagine you had an allergy to cute puppies. Imagine that. Whenever you were around puppies, you just broke out like in a rash that was completely uncontrollable and unstoppable, and there's nothing you can do about it. That's how I would describe social anxiety for me. I love being around people just as much as I love being around cute puppies, but for some reason, I get this uncontrollable reaction to people, and that is anxiety. When I'm around people, I get this really, really bad, deep, intense anxiety, and it wears me out, it tires me out, it stresses me out. And that's typically how I explain to people that I love people and I love being around people, but it's like an allergic reaction that I can't control. So just like how if you had an allergy to cute puppies, would you still go around cute puppies and like try to hang out with them and hug them? Yeah, you would, right? You would just kind of put up with the allergy or just try to take medication with it and still hang out with the cute puppies. That's how I am. I just put up with the anxiety. I just try to deal with it. I've taken medication for it. I, do therapy and meditation and everything, but I still love hanging out with people. I still want to be around people. So I moved to California and I started a retail job at DSW, Designer Shoe Warehouse. That was my very first job after college. I almost got scammed into joining an MLM. Once again, a story for another day. Almost. I was this close, but luckily that didn't happen. DSW. And then after that, I worked at a startup for a little while as a sales assistant. I then worked at a recruiting agency for travel nursing and sales for a bit. And then I worked in sales at a biotech in San Diego, doing more sales support. And then I went up to the Bay Area, and for about 3 months, I worked in sales as a BDR, business development representative. It might have been 6 months for a tech company, a data as a software, DAAS company. And then I got let go from that job and I decided that I was done with sales. And so I had started up my food blog when I was working at the biotech in San Diego and was doing that on the side kind of as a hobby all throughout the biotech job and then the sales job in the Bay Area. And that leads me to the next chapter of my life, which is this chapter. I don't know how to eat this. There's like stuff on top of it that just keeps like flying out everywhere. Whoa, it's good. It has like really deep flavors. Like you can tell that the mushrooms were like in wine, simmering in wine. And so that led me to the chapter of my life where I am now, which is a food blogger, food photographer, food Instagram, just a food person that lives and breathes and consumes food and food content all day long, every single day. After I got let go from my sales job in the Bay Area, I drove back down to San Diego. I packed up all my stuff in my car that very same day, made the 8-hour drive back. I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna try to do this full time. Why not? I'm really passionate about it. I've practiced it enough that I think I'm fairly decent at it. I'm just going to give it a shot. So what I do and my income mainly stems from 3 sources. So I do food blogging. I do some writing, freelance writing on the side for income. I do food photography. So I do professional food photo shoots for restaurants. I do social media management. So I run Instagram and Facebook on behalf of restaurants and businesses out there while also doing the photos for them as well. And here and there I do get paid for posts on my feed, which is Food Venture with Anna on Instagram. So yeah, that's where my money's coming from. That's what I'm putting my focus on. Hopefully YouTube will eventually become a source of income. I would absolutely love that. That's honestly like the ultimate dream. It'd be for my YouTube to get a little bigger and for me to be able to just make money off of eating on camera. My absolute fantasy would be to travel around the world and do international mukbangs for YouTube or for live streaming, maybe one of those. So I did ask people on my Instagram what questions they have for me. So here we go. I'm a little nervous. Your diet routine. TIA and love you, heart. Aw, I love you too. Thank you so much. My diet. Oh my lord. You do not want to know what my diet is. It's bad. I just ate burgers right now, right? Breakfast had some, okay, should I be totally honest? Because I'm not like proud of this. For breakfast, I had some chips and a bagel. So my diet is not the best. I would not recommend it to people. Don't worry. I do eat salads here and there. I promise. Like yesterday, I had like 3 bites of somebody else's salad. So like, yeah, I'm good. But I think that the 2 things that I do to really help me balance the food I eat, number 1 is I do the 16-8 fast, which is where I fast for 16 hours and then I have an eating window of 8 hours. So my eating window is generally from 10 to 4. I have 2 meals and then I'm fasting from 4 to 10. Yeah, that really helps me keep the weight off. It's something that I always recommend to other people, and it also helps me with like my energy levels too. I also work out a lot. Right now, I'm trying to work out every day if I can. I'm either playing tennis or I am going to the gym now because the gym just recently opened up, and I decided that because my boyfriend is now fully vaccinated, I would say I have gotten the vaccine now too, technically. I think it's safe for me to go back to the gym, and so I've been doing that. So either I play tennis for an hour to 2 hours or I go to to the gym 1 to 2 hours almost every single day. So 6 out of 7 days a week. And that really helps as well. Man, though, the gym has been kicking my ass, let me tell you. I went on the treadmill for the first time yesterday in a year. I was able to jog for, wait for it, 2 minutes before I had to stop. So I would jog for 2 minutes and then I'd have to like slow down to walking because I was dying. I could not breathe. Which, by the way, working out with a mask is not that bad. It's not as bad as people make it out to be. I got used to it within like 10 minutes. What camera do you use? So I use a Pixel. I am a die-hard Pixel fan. Do not come at me if you have an iPhone. I don't care. I hate Apple. I really do though. I do hate Apple. So one food photography assumption that I want to clear up is that people think that in order to be a legitimate food blogger, a legitimate food Instagrammer, you have to have a big fancy pantsy DSLR that costs you like $5,000. No, that is not true. It is not true at all. With how advanced camera phones are these days, you do not need a fancy DSLR in order to take good photos. Having a fancy camera does not make you a good photographer, and having really, really amazing photos does not mean you took them with a DSLR. Does that make sense? So many people are so surprised when I tell them most of my photos are not taken with my DSLR. They're taken with my Pixel. I do have a DSLR. It's what I'm using to film this video right now, actually. And for the longest time, I was taking both my Pixel and my DSLR to meals, and I would take the same exact photos from both the DSLR and both the Pixel. 99% of the time, I preferred the photo taken by my Pixel. And this was confirmed by my clients and by restaurants. They'd be like, yeah, we like these photos better. I'd be like, yeah, those are from the camera phone. They're not taken from the fancy camera. They're taken from the Pixel. And a lot of people are really like surprised because there's just this outdated notion that good photos are only taken from DSLRs. And that's just simply not true. I've even had people tell me, like send me hate messages like, you're not a real legitimate food blogger because you don't like have a real camera. And I'm like, I have a real camera. I just don't bring it with me because it's heavy. And like, why would I bring it when my Pixel can take the same exact thing even better? Like my Pixel's portrait mode is bomb. The blurring it does is beautiful. It's amazing. The DSLR does not do the same thing. Like, I'm sorry. Now, if you're looking to become a professional food photographer that's charging like $2,000 to $5,000 per shoot, then yeah, you should have a DSLR. Of course, you know, you should also have like a lighting setup and like, you know, an umbrella and everything too. But do not think that you are not as good or not good enough because you do not have a DSLR or a fancy camera. You can do just as good of a job, and I will die on that hill. Do you help manage other accounts? Yes, I do. I do help run other Instagram accounts. What key events in life led you to become such a fabulous foodie? I would not describe my life as fabulous. I don't know. I would not describe myself as a fabulous foodie. I mean, it definitely can feel fabulous, like when you're going to new restaurant openings and, you know, they invite you in and you get to come and try the food for free and try the drinks for free. Definitely feel fabulous in those moments. I'm so grateful that I get to be invited to places and I get to go eat out at places and I get to try so much of this amazing food. But yeah, I would say that 95% of my life is not really fabulous. Of course, the parts that I post to Instagram are fabulous. Of course, when you go on Instagram, what you see is only the fabulous parts. And sometimes I feel bad because I feel like I'm only posting the glamorous, amazing, ritzy, glowy parts of my life, when in reality, most of the time, it's not actually like that. And so sometimes I just want to like remind people, what you see like on my stories, it's just like a small snippet of my day, right? A small snippet of my evening. And, you know, that's not like a representation of my entire day and my entire life. And it's only the good parts. Just like everybody else, I only post the good parts to my Instagram. What's the secret to your glow skin? I mean, I don't think I'm glowing, but thank you. It's funny because before the pandemic, my skincare routine was literally one step. I would literally just put Curology on my face and that was it. It was only during the pandemic that I decided I was super into skincare and that I would have a 10-step routine every night before bedtime. What got you into food blogging? And another person asked, what got you started with your account? So I got into food blogging a little more than 2 years ago now. And it all started when I went to a bake sale. And at this bake sale, they had a sign. So the sign read, take some photos and post them to Instagram to take part of our contest. We'll look at your photos and if you win, you get some free baked goods. And so I got like a tart and a cupcake and something else. And I spent half an hour taking like 500 photos, no joke. And that was when the obsession was born. I became obsessed obsessed with food photography. I could not stop. The fact that I like made my boyfriend wait for half an hour while I was just sitting. I didn't win because the photos were not good, but that's what really started it. Back then it was a bit of a different scene. Food blogging and being like a food influencer, it wasn't like a really big thing back then. So I was just taking photos and posting them just for fun, just to have a place to put that photography, you know, in hopes that somebody on Instagram would like it and, you know, somebody would appreciate it. I essentially just started my food Instagram to not annoy my friends on my other Instagram with my food photos, really. And over the years, I just kept doing it consistently, and it slowly blossomed and grew into what it is today. And I can definitely go more into that in another video too, sort of how like I grew my Instagram, how I learned about food photography, how you can do food photography, thinking about doing like a how-to video, like how to do food photography, like the basics. So watch out for that. If someone is visiting San Diego for the first time, what are 3 places you recommend? These questions drive me crazy, and not in like a bad way, not like a, oh my god, like I hate this question, but just like a, it is so hard for me to choose only 3 places, dude. Like that list changes daily, hourly, depending on how I feel, you know what I mean? It's tough because there's so many amazing restaurants in San Diego, and it's just impossible for me to choose 3 because they're all so good. And I feel like just by just choosing 3, I'm like letting down all the other restaurants that are amazing and deserve a spot on list, you know what I mean? And generally when people ask me that question, I always come back and I'm like, well, do you want me to list fancy places? Do you want me to list date places? Or do you want like casual food? Do you want cheap food? You know? I guess the question is, though, someone's visiting San Diego for the first time. Okay, so first place I would recommend is a place called Cake Day Party, and that's because I personally think that they have the best desserts in San Diego. They do the fluffy Japanese souffle pancakes the best, once again, in my opinion. They have ube fluffy pancakes. They have crepe cakes, which is another dessert you won't find anywhere else in San Diego. They have lava cakes, which they do amazing. Like a lava cake is the one where like you break into it and it like oozes. They do it perfectly, phenomenally. Would highly recommend. So that's one place I would definitely recommend. Right now, I would say like one of the hottest restaurants in San Diego is a downtown rooftop bar called Lumi. They do Peruvian Japanese fusion. The rooftop is gorgeous. It's like the hot and poppin' place to be right now, you know what I mean? And their chef is incredibly talented. His dishes are fantastic, amazing. Their drinks are like, oh! So they're definitely a place to go for like the wow factor in terms of ambiance and location and food wise. Hey guys, sorry about that. My SIM card died. My SIM card ran out of space, so it is now the next day. Okay, so the third place that I recommend to visit in San Diego, because of course when you're in San Diego you have to get seafood, right? We're right next to the ocean. There's lots of good seafood places here. My personal favorite that I recommend is a place called El Pescador in La Jolla. It's a really cute, more casual seafood place. It's not like upscale dining. And what I love about them is that they have fresh seafood. They bring in like a daily catch every day, and you can look at all the different seafoods they have, and you can select what seafood you want and then pay them to grill it for you, which for me works out really well because one of my favorite proteins to get is actually octopus, but I hate it when I have to order like an octopus salad or an octopus sandwich or an octopus something, and then it always comes with other things and like not a lot of octopus. So a lot of times I'll just roll into El Pescador and I'll be like, give me 1/3 of a pound of octopus and grill it with some lemon butter, please. And I just get a huge plate full of octopus, nothing else, and it's so satisfying. You could pay them to grill fish, to grill scallops, to grill whatever you fancy, they'll do it for you. And they're really good at cooking their seafood. Every single time the octopus has been like spot on tender and perfectly charred on the outside. So last question, do you like to cook? If so, what's your go-to dish? I do love to cook. I really wish I had more time to do it, but I am a huge fan of the Instant Pot and the air fryer. I have both, and oh man, have they changed my life, like seriously. I just love making like slow cooked meats in the Instant Pot. Moroccan chicken, Filipino chicken, Russian chicken, slow cooked beef, just throw a protein in there, throw some spices, close it, pressure cook it, and it turns out amazing every single time. Like you can't go wrong with an Instant Pot. One of my favorite things to make is actually a Chinese stir-fried tomato and egg dish. It's something that my roommate in college made me once, and she was Chinese. After that, I became so addicted, and I make it for myself maybe 2 to 3 times a week now. Super easy, super comforting and tasty. So that's it for the video, guys. I hope I answered all your questions. If you have any additional questions or any follow-up questions, leave them down below and I will answer them. Or if you want me to follow up on anything and make a whole video, just let me know. If you could, please like, subscribe, or comment below. It really helps put my video out there and puts it out in front of more eyes, which would be super helpful. Thank you guys so much. Oh, do you like my nails? I kind of hated this color at first because it's very sheer and light. Like you can't really see it that well, but I almost like the subtleness of it, you know what I mean? It's like a good spring color. I'm gonna be wearing pink like 5 times a week from now on because spring is finally here. Bye!